You know, a little advertisement would be
Hey,
great.
is your vagina feeling a little tennis ball shooty?
That's right. That's right.
Come see so-and-so plastic surgery.
Hungry for a taco? There's so much.
Oh, my God. That's a big deal now, the plastic surgery. For the ladies' parts, they tuck them up.
Really?
And for the men's parts, they beef them up.
I couldn't picture it. There's got to be a certain amount of downtime, though. I would imagine you'd be really sore.
You're down.
I would imagine you'd be really sore after that operation. And how do you take off time from work?
Well, you think about this. Like, any surgery comes with the risk, especially if anesthesia is involved, comes with the risk of death. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Like, I got a vasectomy, right?
Uh-huh.
I have 4 children.
Right.
It was necessary.
A little late,
okay?
by the way.
But I was terrified. I don't think I've ever been so scared of anything in my life.
Did
so
it
I went
hurt?
to see the great Dr. Yu is my urologist.
Asian guy, I would assume?
Yes,
Okay.
he's an Asian guy. Dr.
'Cause-
Yu, Dr. Me, Dr. Us, I call him.
Why are you bringing me into this? No, Dr. Me is assistant.
Yeah. By the way, he loves this banter in the office. And I'm not even kidding. He loves Dr. Yu, Dr. Me, Dr. Us. So I go and see him, and he could see I'm visibly upset. And he goes, this is just the examination to make sure this is okay for you and you don't have anything else and you're not have a growth on your testicles.
Right.
And he said, if you can't handle this, it's probably not a good idea for you to get it. I said, I have to.
Yeah.
You know, my wife said I have to.
Yeah. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
So he goes, well, let's see if you can handle it. I'm going to do the examination, and then we're going to figure out if you can do that, then you can go through the process. And I go, okay. So he says, take down your pants. And I go, it's like the worst. It's like here. You know, he sees steaming piles of junk all day long,
Right.
but I don't want him to see mine. It's just normal to not want to show it to another dude in an office, in cargo shorts, the same ones we were wearing matching that week that we were together that we felt really bad about. And then he says, lay down. Now you're in a very vulnerable spot.
Right. You're laying there with your pants around your ankles.
Right.
And you're laying flat on your back.
And he's about to go in on
All right. And Dr. Yu, an Asian man, is standing above you.
And inexplicably, I put my arms behind my head and said, no, I didn't. Could you imagine, though? Get in there. Just get right in there.
Wait. Go slower. Slower.
Lower, I mean. So I did not do that. So what I did was...
Oh, Dr. Yu.
You know when you watch a YouTube video of some guy getting hit in the nuts and all the ladies laugh?
Right.
What do you do with your hands? You put them above your face and just cover up like you're playing catcher and you know you just missed it.
You go into a fetal position.
Right. So I do that, and he starts squeezing. He's just honking on me, one at a time.
Wow.
And I'm like, come on, man. How long does this go on? He's just checking to make sure you don't have ball cancer. All right, Dr. Yu. So he says, you made it through. You can do this procedure. So I said, okay. So we're doing it. I go a few weeks later, and it's time for the thing, and I'm so nervous he had to give me some medication to calm down. He gave me 2 pills. I was like, can you just beef it up a little bit? Yeah, like 160.
What did you think was
so
going to
I can
happen?
catch a problem?
Did you think he was going to lop off your whole manhood or something?
Well, here's what they do. Based on my understanding, if I get this wrong, feel free to message me and let me know.
We should also preface this by saying you and I were not doctors.
We're not. Fair enough. Also, I don't listen when people talk.
Right.
Okay? But the way he explained it to me was they slice open your bag. Then they pull out the wiring. They cut it, and then they fuse it back together with a little heat.
Wow. That just sucks.
You get a local anesthetic.
Every level.
You're not out.
Wow.
But he is a...
Do you smell burning flesh?
I didn't. I thought I was. I was under the impression... I don't know how this works. You know, learning hospitals?
Yeah.
And learning centers of medicine?
I got a story to top all this.
Okay.
When we're done here.
So when they have a learning hospital or a learning center of medicine, that means that whenever you're having a procedure, there are people in there watching who are training to be a doctor.
Oh, so familiar with this.
Or a nurse. And apparently he's either a learning center of medicine or people just wanted to see my balls get sliced.
Right.
So there were like 3 girls in there. And I'm buddies with Dr. Yu, so he's making jokes, which I find, the first time in my life, I found offensive.
Right. How dare you joke?
Not the time, Dr. Yu. Dr. Yu, Dr. Me, Dr. Us. And the ladies in there laughing it up.
Oh, my God.
Oh, this is not funny.
Oh, that's not funny at all.
Long story short, I got it done.
Long story short, your story is now even shorter.
20 minutes ago.
But I can beat that.
Okay, Learning Center of Medicine, right?
Yeah, 10 years ago. And this isn't the funny part. My father passed away. I became really stressed.
You had to clarify that wasn't the funny part?
Yeah, I became really stressed. It physically beat the crap out of me because I hold everything in to the point of where my prostate stopped working. I woke up one morning and I couldn't pee. This is the first time I've ever told this story, by the way. I couldn't piss. All right. So I went to the doctor. They gave me some medicine. They said, come back in a couple of weeks and we'll check your prostate. I go back. Everything's working. It's at NYU Medical.
Okay.
A learning hospital. All right. So they take me in the examination room and the doctor's in there. I don't remember his name. Asian. I don't remember his name.
You're in good hands, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I always feel better.
I walk in and I
Asian,
see,
Indian, I'm covered.
like, oh, I'm going to be healed.
Yeah.
So he's talking.
If Gary O'Houlihan walks in the room, I'm like, go get me the Asian guy.
So I'm sitting there and I'm just wearing my regular street clothes and he's going over my case history and it sounds like everything goes. He goes, I'm going to have to check. I said, all right. As I'm talking, the door opens and another Asian guy and a girl walk in dressed in scrubs.
Right.
And he doesn't acknowledge.
Followed by the Miami Sound Machine.
Right, exactly. Gloria Estefan.
Come shake your body, baby. Do that conga
is out in the hallway. Anyway, so they're in, but he doesn't acknowledge him. So I'm like, hi. He goes, oh, they're just students. Don't worry about them. So he said, all right, now we're going to have to check your prostate. I was like, I figured. Yeah. So I dropped my pants. I bend over. I assume the position. He snakes me. He says, "Oh yeah, it's fine. It's fine." He pulls his finger out, and then you hear the words, "No man ever wants to hear." He turns to the two students and said, "Here, you guys check it out." Suddenly,
everyone gets.
I'm the victim of a gangbang. The guy does it. The girl does it. Checks me out. Finally, I'm like, anybody else?
You're Jodie Foster in The Accused.
Absolutely. It was 3-on-1.
There wasn't a pinball machine involved, was there?
It was 3-on-1. I have never felt so violated. Look, and I'm an open-minded guy.
Sure. Bring it on. Free ass play. 1-on-1.
Who hasn't had an Asian guy put his finger up your ass? This wasn't the first time.
Sure, right.
But I've never had a group lining up to do it.
You didn't sign off on that.
No. So I suddenly, I'm the easy guy in examination room 3. Yeah. When I left, I almost felt like people were going to be like, "Hey, that's the guy. How come are you going to come back next week?"
Oh, she's like a doorknob. Everybody gets a turn.
So we'll see you next week. I get dibs.
How do we start this? Talking urinal, right?
Yeah.
Here's number 4.
This is a perfect one for us. Now we sound like a podcast. We sound like with the big breaks, people coughing, no one paying attention.
Right.
South Carolina bracing for a possible lizard man sighting during the solar eclipse.
Lizard man
lives in the. I don't know. Did this happen? I don't know if it did. I don't care. I've heard enough about the solar eclipse.
I know the eclipse is coming up, and
happened already.
And people on social media are freaking out. I said this last week. I hope it's the cloudiest day ever from coast to coast. I hope people wake up in the morning. They have their solar eclipse outfits. They have their, frosted polarized glasses. They have their piece of cardboard with the pinhole cut in it. I hope they're showing up on mountaintops, rooftops, fields all across America, and I hope the clouds roll in like it's San Francisco.
Like a scene in a Jerry Bruckheimer disaster movie.
I'm praying for it.
Well, the lizard man, in case you don't know, and I did know this because I watch a lot.
Is this like a Bigfoot type thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
The lizard man lives in the swamps of Lee County, South Carolina, and the eclipse just might draw him out of hiding. A couple weeks ago, the cops in Greenville, South Carolina, felt the need to specifically ask people to not shoot the Bigfoot if they saw him. Now, here's the part that I was astonished to read, and this is out of the Charleston Post and Courier, which I have a subscription to.
Who doesn't?
Someone there has a sense of humor.
Okay.
And a pretty good one at that. Here's what they said. Where is it? Where did it go?
Coatley was hanging.
Come on.
We got to learn about the lizard man.
Is there another end to this page? Come on.
Come on. Don't leave it. Is the lizard man coming out? Is there going to be a lizard man?
South Carolina Emergency Management Division.
Yeah, you keep saying that. Lee County.
Tweeted asking people to report any paranormal.
Right.
Come on. I thought I had it here. The person basically said, you're going to shoot somebody in a costume.
Right. Oh, because there's do they think there's really going to be a lizard man, or do they think it's just going to be someone in a costume?
What a dick. Fail.
Wow. You know what? I know who took that piece of paper. The lizard man. He came in here when we weren't looking and actually took away the piece of paper.
Years ago, there was a mutant manfish.
Right.
That they were shopping around online. That they were trying to make us believe was real.
Again, from the South?
I don't know. It was just online.
Right.
You know, now people show me stuff and I go, what do you want from me?
Do you believe in stuff like that? Do you believe in like the Bigfoots and the Loch Ness Monsters?
Here's the problem.
Like
I want to. No. UFOs, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster. I want that to be real.
I would love to.
You would love to believe it, right?
I would love for it to be real. I would love for it, like, I want there to be aliens.
Mm-hmm.
I want there to be UFOs turning into flying saucers.
Right.
I want there to be Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, the Chupacabra.
Right.
The Chupacabra.
Yeah.
Which is the Mexican one.
The Mexican one. Right. Which sucks the blood out of goats.
Right. And only goats.
Yeah, and looks like a skinned greyhound.
Right. I want all of that to be real because it'll just blow the roof off of anything normalized society has. Religion, belief systems.
Sure.
It'll just completely blow them out of the water.
But it'll also eliminate a lot of the population because they're going to kill each other off within the first 36 hours. Losing their minds.
Right.
Fighting over the last jelly beans in the grocery store.
That's right.
I'm hanging home.
No,
for
I've always said
36 hours.
First of all, I live in New York City, and it's a cesspool. And even on normal days when everything's going perfect, if you're just outside walking to the subway, going to the store, driving through the neighborhood, whatever, it's like Armageddon to begin with.
Right.
It's people just freaking out. So when the end of the world does come, there's no way that people will be able to like orderly leave Brooklyn. Everybody on the left, you're going across the bridge. Everybody else, you're going through the
hipsters
tunnel.
to the left, Jews to the right.
That's not going to happen. It's going to be one big F fest of people just fighting and killing each other.
Sure.
So I have a special bottle of bourbon.
Okay.
And a couple of cigars. And I've already said to the family, when shit goes down, we're going to stay in our apartment and watch it on TV.
Steve Buscemi, you got a front row seat to the end of the world, Armageddon. Fair enough.
Yeah, and I'm just going to sit in the living room. If you can make it down to Brooklyn, you and your family, you're more than welcome to stay with us when Armageddon happens.
That'd be tough for us to do.
Yeah, because 95 is always like Armageddon.
And that's what you want at the end of the world when you're relaxing, drinking that bourbon.
Yeah.
My 4 kids burst through the door.
All right,
you have Wi-Fi?
Right. No.
What's the password?
That would be my son. He's like, listen, I was just on the internet. Something's going on.
It's over, everybody. It's the end of the world.
No, this would be the conversation because he's 13. This would be the conversation. Hey, it's the end of the world. He'd be like, what? Dude, the end of the world is happening. They've discovered aliens. They've landed. They are destroying the humankind systematically, block by block.
But I can't play Minecraft with Taylor in Queens.
But what? Now who's what now?
Do you feel like I feel like, everybody says the end times and Armageddon. There's signs. Are we not seeing them? What was the guy on the subway that we forgot to talk about last week? The guy that brought up
the peacock.
I mean, are you? I mean, the subway has been for years just a place for people who are failed entertainers to show up and force something down somebody's throat.
I figured this out. I've lived in New York City almost 30 years, and I don't ride the subway every day. Right now, I try not to ride it at all.
Sure.
Because it's disgusting. It's like a frappuccino of waste and urine and food and smells. It's disgusting. So, but you figure in 30 years, you ride the subway twice a day. That's what? I've been on the subway 30,000 times,
sure,
at least.
And how many good experiences have you had? If you had to give a Yelp review to the subway system in New York City, what would it say?
I'd say 2. I've had 2 good rides. And both times it's because I met a girl many years ago on the subway. Because back then, when I first moved to New York City, people didn't have headphones or phones. Their noses weren't buried into stuff. So you actually had a chance to make eye contact with people.
Kind of,
yeah, you know, and so you could actually strike up a conversation with a girl and say, hey, why don't we get off the next stop and we'll have a drink, and that would actually work. So I've had 2 good subway rides. Right. But I've seen it all. I was sitting on the subway one day.